Hey y'all, Joe here, Southern Coast of Cooking, coming at you here tonight. I'm actually going to be cooking up some seafood stew at a friend's house. I'm going to show what I got. I don't even know how the light on their range works. I'm over here working this evening for them while they're out doing a fancy draft, and told them I'll have the seafood stew ready. So what we got here is some andouille sausage and some regular sausage, some country pleasing. We're going to let this just saute right through here. So I'll let brown on down, alright? And then we'll pull it out. We'll go in with some veggies. Alright, y'all, these sausages are about where I want to be. I'm going to scoop them out and leave this oil in there. Because, yes, need that oil to saute down the veggies today. So let me get these sausages out of there, set them aside. I'll be right back to you. So I got my oil right there heated up. Got some vegetables, just your trinity. Right there, and that is about 24 ounce, 24 ounces of trinity right there. And we're going to just stir that around, cook that down, and get that nice and translucent there. Now while we're here sauteing, might as well go ahead and start laying in some flavor. Let's take some Old Bay. Get a flavor. Up there. How about some Beezels, your favorite season, your Cajun season. I got some of this stuff stockpiled up. It comes out every once in a while. And of course my Hareems, a wonderful oyster company and butter garlic seasoning. Stuff is fantastic. Love it. Everything, especially on shrimp, oysters, garlic bread, and stews and everything like that. It's great. Got all that. Let's just mix that in, and then just adding layers of flavor as we go here. Look at that. Alright, y'all, as this starts to get a little bit more translucent, I'm gonna go ahead and add. I got some mushrooms. I'm gonna get mushrooms in. You can find them right over here. Just some sliced mushrooms. Let those cook down in there. Again, we'll probably add a little bit more seasoning. Keep everything nice and seasoned. So now we're on about medium heat. We're just stirring and simmering. I'm just checking for these mushrooms to get soft enough before we start adding more ingredients. We're going to get some water out of the mushrooms, alright? Cook that off. So I think we're about ready for another ingredient. I've got some fire roasted tomatoes. I'm sitting here acting like I'm going to strain the juice like this. We'll put them in here. I want to strain some of the juice out of it first in just a second. So bear with me. 1 can of fire roasted tomatoes. I'll stir that in. And set those tomatoes off with some flavor. I've got a little Worcestershire sauce, or W sauce, whatever y'all want to call it. I think that works well with tomatoes. At this time, if I have a little white wine or something, I'll put that in there. I don't know if they've got any, so I'm just going to throw it out. We'll stir that around and let this keep reducing and simmering. Now cook down a little bit. Let's throw some fresh garlic in there. That's about 5 toes, I guess, just chopped up. Trying to deal with this fresh garlic. Smell the house up there. Once you stir that in. Oh yeah. That's good. I want to talk about layering in some flavor. What we're about to do. This is a Better Than Bouillon lobster base concentrate. This stuff is absolutely wonderful. A couple big heap of spoons of that in there. Any of my seafood dishes, if I don't have a fresh, let's say shrimp or crab stock or something like that, I put this Better Than Bouillon in there. This stuff's absolutely amazing. So we're going to stir that in there. It's going to bloom this seafood flavor out. It's going to be wonderful for us. So we'll stir that in there. That stuff's great. We'll cook a lot of this water out. We're going to put this sausage back in. Alright. Stir that back in there. Let's just keep on going. much on. This is just perfect, just where I want it, simmering, everything like this with the sausage and all back in. I'm gonna take this one, move it off heat for just a minute. I'm gonna show you something else we're about to do. All right, well that's off the heat for a minute. I'm gonna get boiling about 2 of these 32-ounce containers of chicken stock here, and get that to a rolling boil. So we're using this new product. I've never used this Kerry's Dry Roux Mix. Okay, never used it before. They claim you mix it with a boil of water. We're using stock, and then you add everything else in there to make a gumbo or a stew or something. We'll give it a try. I'm going to do this in a separate pot with all my other ingredients in case it messed up. That's about half the jar. Call them out of water. We're just going to stir that up and just see what happens, you know. I'm going to taste it a little bit too, because I don't trust just, you throwing all this stuff in these expensive ingredients and something you never tried. Whereas now just a little bit, just need to get this all good and mixed in. Back to you in just a second. But I just didn't have time to make a roux this afternoon. I tasted this stuff. You can't really taste anything, so that's good. Just want to make sure it wasn't real bitter or something crazy. So the instructions are, if you're making a gumbo or something just out from this thing, is you pour all your meat back in there and let everything simmer for 2 hours. Obviously not going to do that with seafood, but I will let it simmer with that sausage and the vegetables and let it just cook down. Okay, and then we'll add the seafood here just a little bit. So we'll try it that way. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this into the big pot, y'all. I think I'm gonna season this just a little bit for the heck of it, just cause. And I don't wanna leave something unseasoned. So I'll mix it back in there. How's that sound to y'all? The white pepper. Don't take much. You alright? And again, we'll mix it all back up there, and I'm gonna mix it back in the big pot. Alright, so I got over here with the sausage. We're going to bring this back up to a good hard simmer, medium-high heats, and let it simmer for about an hour. Then we'll contemplate tasting a flavor and putting that precious seafood in. Alright, y'all, we're looking pretty daggone good right there on the consistency. I mean, I don't want to just cook this sausage much. Go ahead and add the seafood. And look at that glisten right there. Oh yes. So we'll go ahead and go over here and add the seafood to it here in just a second. I'm gonna try to add the seafood and not make a mess. Shrimp, crawfish, 3 pounds of shrimp, 2 pounds of crawfish. I think that'll be a good mixture there. Oh yeah. Get the stragglers out. Throw those bad boys on in. Oh yeah. Everything stirred in here and let it come back to the simmer. Also, I add the seafood like this. I'm bringing it up to a low simmer, stir to make sure everything gets mixed around. I also let it simmer for about 30 minutes, and all will be good to go, y'all. It'll be perfect for them. I hope they enjoy it. Okay, y'all, so this gumbo tastes delicious. That roux that I used, the powder, just the brown flour, slip that free or whatever. A lot of people ask me if they can make, the Creole or something like that without all the oil and butter. You could use that roux. You could use a brown flour. I like mine a little bit thicker though. So, it's just whatever your taste is. But I mean, for a gumbo or a stew or something, this consistency is fine. If I was doing étouffée, or I was doing the Creole, a little thicker, but that's a good consistency for a gumbo. Really good.